So what else? What else is CPESN doing? What else is going to go on this year? Anything big? A lot of cuts by 1,000 knives.
We'll make news here. How's that?
Okay.
I think that there's going to be large scale disruption over the next 18 months in the way that pharmacies contract for dispensing.
Okay. So
what does that mean?
What would that be?
What do you think that?
We know I can guarantee there's going to be disruption. What the role of CPESN is, I have no idea right now, but I know that the lines between value-based contracting and services and dispensing and primary care and pharmacy and other plays, what used to be a relatively separated grouping of foods at the buffet line is now getting all mixed together on the same plate. Right? Mm-hmm. So I just had this conversation with a luminary this morning. They're like, I'm underwater on the dispensing side, but this is a $300 to $600 opportunity for each one of these patients on the services side. Do I now take that contract? And what happens if I don't have access to that contract because I'm part of a group that says no, when for my pharmacy, this makes sense for me. So, the era that we're getting into is the data that we use, the way we think, and the business model was relatively monolithic because most every patient that walked into a pharmacy generated some kind of a margin. Mm-hmm. Some were smaller, some were larger, but it was as many patients and prescriptions as possible. And now you're seeing, groups run away from Medicare, right? Not just go, oh, this is a tough call. Run away from Medicare, run away from TRICARE,
mm-hmm. Right.
And so between services and where you're located, are you in suburbia? Are you rural? Who's the employer in your town? What's that contract? But now it's 50 to 70% of the patients coming into your pharmacy you might be losing money on, and there's 20 to 30% of your patients that are covering them and producing your margin at the same time. So this idea of a homogeneous way of contracting, a homogeneous practice model, a homogeneous business intelligence that goes with it. I think the care processes will be universal. Please don't change that, Jeff and Marcia and the Pioneer. Care processes. When it comes to the business of what this location versus what that location is doing to sustain itself, I think we're going to enter an era of heterogeneity.
So you're saying that the pharmacies are way different. They're going to have to specialize and that kind of thing. They're going to negotiate their own contracts. There's going to be less PSAO. Is that
right? If you talk to Tracy Poole, the med spa and the certain types of testing and travel vaccines are what holds that pharmacy up. If you talk in Nashville, if you talk to Joe, what's holding him up is really good relationships with care management and the complex patients in the MedSync model. When you talk to Kyle at Blueberry, he's a cash-only pharmacy. When you talk to, I'm starting to see it even within the CPESN luminaries, clearly where they're going, where they're trying to get to the place of sustainability. There's different. It's like we're a guidance counselor now, and we're saying, oh, so it's not that we're all going into the same trade now. Mm-hmm. You're going into this trade, you're going into this trade, you're going into this trade, and you're going into this trade. And so that's not a comfortable place for a lot of actors in our industry because they're very used to monolithic ways of contracting and thinking.
Well, they're not business people. I mean, there's your bell curve problem, right? Because you have right. A lot of those people who just don't know how to do that. And that's Marcia was talking about earlier, getting out of the pharmacy and talking to people and figuring out what the needs in the community are. You have to do that for that to be sustainable.
Let me sort of tie a bow on this with this pithy statement. I believe the pharmacies are more ready for that than everybody that supports the pharmacies or that they work with. The pharmacies are seeking these things out in a more aggressive way as now they're ready to quit smoking, and they're creating the heterogeneity. You probably see this with people say, hey, can I get this? Can I get that? Can I get this? And the list gets longer and more diverse because, like one of the items that came up last night on one of our work groups is, oh, shoot, now Ohio and Missouri don't allow you to put a service in as a prescription. I need a way of accounting differently for services, or I need a well, yeah, but my pharmacy, I do pharmacogenomics and I need this thing over here, is that the volume and diversity of requests for even a pharmacy management system or technology become almost overwhelming because of this heterogeneity, right? So whether it's technology, PSAOs, wholesalers, GPOs, this, hey, we're going to do things the way we've done them for 30 years, and we're going to do it in a monolithic way, and our pharmacies are going to be good with that. I got news for you. They're not going to be good with it.